Hello and welcome everyone to this week's episode of the podcast. This week we're going to be sharing with you all about the Jewellery Business Academy, which is, dun dun dun, drum roll please, officially now open to join for next year. The program doesn't start until January, so you have a bit of time to sign up, but the wonderful community manager Anna Campbell is here to share with me a bit about what the Jewellery Business Academy is and who it's for. But essentially, if anybody is looking to start or grow a jewelry business and would like some support and help, this is going to be a great episode for you to listen to today. So welcome, Anna. Thank you for coming and sharing about this with me.
I'm just really excited to share about this new evolution of the Business Academy, from the beginnings in the boot camp, and how it has been an evolution. It's not a complete revolution. But yeah, it's just really exciting.
Yes, absolutely. When I think back to the first Jewellery Business Bootcamp that we ran online, which had been teaching it in person for a few years before that at London Jewellery School, it was just before my son was born, and he is now 7.5. The half is important. So that was like nearly 8 years ago, maybe even 9 years ago, because it was before he was born. So you're right, it has really evolved over time, and we've had this incredible loyal following of people building their businesses with us who've been doing the bootcamp every year. And then we had membership, and then we had the Jewellery Business Academy, which has been running for a year. And now it's like the next step. So we are both really excited about it. So just to explain a little bit about what this program is, it is a brand new year-long program. It starts in January and runs through to December. We're planning to run it each year, and this will be our first year. And it is all new filming and fresh content. So if you have done any of our business programs before, there'll be some similar themes in there because how to run a jewelry business hasn't massively changed over the past decade. There have been some tweaks and some adjustments with marketing and pricing and things like that. But essentially, it's the core fundamentals of how do we start these businesses? How do we make them profitable? How do we grow them? How do we build in our values so that whatever kind of business you want, you can build and you don't have to create someone else's dream business, but you can create your own. And so we have refilmed it all. And it's not just been in a studio like in the past, where it's mostly been me talking in a studio, but we've actually gone on the road and filmed in different locations. So I've filmed some of the content with Anna, who is with us today. We've also have a bunch of other business mentors who have gone around to their houses, to their workshops, and filmed with them. And so it really kind of brings the program alive. And if anybody's watched our series, The Handmade Jewelers, and enjoyed that kind of content, it's a bit different because it's a training program. So it's more of a course than that. But it gives you an idea of the kind of how interactive and vibrant, and it really brings these ideas, these topics that can be a little bit more dry, to life in an exciting way. So instead of me just telling you about packaging, you get to see jewelers and what they're using for their packaging. And instead of just telling you about websites, we get to see how some jewelers are working on their websites and what they're doing. So it's very case study rich. And this is something we're excited to share, isn't it, Anna, as you mentioned, this new kind of evolution.
I know. I'm just so excited, to have you coming up to Scotland with the film crew. That is brilliant, and I think that does make a real difference, like you said. I think seeing jewelers in the wild, as it were, doing what they do and talking a little bit more about it. It's always lovely to be in the studio and talking and things like that. But I feel like you say, it's like one step further again, and it's about really connecting and hearing from those people and what they're doing. So yes,
Mhm.
exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's great to learn the theory, but then to see it in practice is a whole nother thing. And I know when I see someone else's workshop or someone else's setup, I always get inspired. And I did a business program years ago when I was starting London Jewelry School. And actually, one of the things they asked us to do was to go and visit each other's businesses. We were all in London at the time. And it was amazing to just go into someone's business for the day and sit with them, and they were working. So it was seeing like, oh, how are they doing things? Like, what systems and processes do they have? Even just little things like, when do they break for lunch? How long for? Like, just how do they manage their staff if they have staff, or how do they do, like I said, their packaging? How do they do deal with hallmarking, all these little things. It's amazing to just kind of be a fly on the wall. And for a lot of us who are starting businesses, perhaps as a second career, or just doing it from home on our own, we don't have that apprenticeship of necessarily going through working alongside a jeweler. And so there's all these little things we can miss. So I'm excited that we're going to be able to kind of give some more insight and show some more kind of real life, day in the life stuff alongside the training that we do in the program. So just a
I
little bit of
think sorry, just to add on to that, because I think it's a good point that you're making, and there's something that came to mind is that as jewelers, we're very visual people, and sometimes business practices can seem very abstract when we're learning about them. If we're reading the lovely book that we have, or that we do all of the things that we do, sometimes it doesn't really bring it to life. And I think that's why I'm also really excited about this, because we often, like you mentioned, maybe we've had another career, we've worked for other people, but actually working for ourselves can be a bit of a different thing. And working on our own can sometimes feel a bit isolating. So just to feel like, oh, okay, I know how that person does it. That doesn't mean you're going to do it exactly the same way, but I think it always gives us that kind of little, oh, I can kind of put my own twist on it. And I think that's what's exciting.
Absolutely. I agree with that. And I think what's really nice is seeing like 3 or 4 different people. And I loved
Yeah.
this with the handmade jewelers, because like you said, and this is very Jewelers Academy vibe. It's like, it's not about how one person does it. It's something that is really unique to us, is that we have this whole team of jewelers. We have a whole team of business mentors. We have a whole team of making mentors, and we have a whole team of staff. And so we're always learning from each other, and the whole community, all of you guys, and I think it's that collaborative kind of process that makes us so kind of rich in our knowledge, because sometimes, even if you were doing an apprenticeship or something, it's like you learn one way, that one person's way, and there's nothing wrong with that. But to have that expansive knowledge and that whole community is really incredible, I think. So in terms of like who it's for, well, actually, before I get onto that, one thing I wanted to talk about is, again, in line with the evolution, anyone who's thinking, well, what about the Jewellery Business Bootcamp? Is that still a thing? What's going to happen? Just to explain, so we are no longer running the bootcamp as it was, as an 8-week intensive. We loved doing that, but it was very intensive for people. And so what we've done is kind of stretched it out over the course of a whole year, because running a business doesn't take 8 weeks, it takes a lifetime. And so every month we're going to be focusing on a different topic, a different area. So it's kind of like we've combined the bootcamp with the Jewellery Business Academy, and it's all just one new, fresh program that is going to guide you throughout your year. We also follow the topics in terms of what will be useful to work on in January, in February, in March, in April, and so on, building up to kind of Christmas towards the end of the year as well. And it's all the usual favorites of, looking at your vision, looking at your strategy, looking at your business planning, looking at your branding and your marketing and your websites, looking at your photography, looking at your email marketing, your Instagram, all of those things, the finances. And then kind of as we move towards further on in the year, is looking at your products, looking at your signature style. If you have read my book, you'll know all these topics. So we just get to go in more detail and kind of delve in a bit further. And there's a bit more, because it's a course, it's a bit more of like a workbook energy to it, where we're like, go off and do this and give it a go. So we're excited to kind of see the results that people get from taking part in the program too. So should we talk a bit about who it's for, Anna? Who do you think this new program, I guess it's similar to any of the other business programs we've done, is going to be useful for?
Honestly, I think anybody at any stage of a jewelry business will get something from this. I think if you are a beginner and you're just starting out and you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed with all of the things that Jess just listed, it's like, and that's one reason why we've broken it down and into those monthly kind of tasks and topics to really delve into them and get into them. And I think that's important. So if you're a beginner, this is going to be your year to really go in all in on the business. But also, if you have had a business for a little while, and you think it's time to refresh things and to re-look at things, and I think sometimes things do change. It could be our own style and the types of products that we have change, and therefore our customer and who we're going to be talking to will change. And so, we don't stay static in our business. We're always moving and always evolving ourselves. And I think if you're in that space where you're like, actually, really what I'd like is something that's just going to take me step by step through all of the important things that I need to think about for my business, because there's a lot of times we don't know what we don't know. If we've worked for somebody else and we haven't really worked in a small business, there are lots of things that are out there that you don't necessarily know about. And that's not to say it's complicated or hard or anything like that, but I think sometimes it's more about, it's like, have you thought about this? And you're like, oh, I haven't thought about that. Or have you thought about this? Oh, okay. No, I hadn't really thought about that. And it's almost like a year. I wouldn't say a year-long checklist doesn't sound that exciting, but it's like this year. It's those kind of steps that you can take, but it's breaking them down. Because another thing I think that we can all get is completely overwhelmed. Like, I'm starting a new business, or I'm changing my business, or I just want to, just really kind of double down on my business. Oh, what do I do? Where do I start? And I think this this is going to just really walk you through it. And it is like walking alongside us. We're going to be there going, this is the way to go. Don't fall down that hole. Just walk around it. It's all of the little pitfalls and things that, again, we don't necessarily know about when we're doing it for ourselves.
I love that, Anna. And I think both you and me can relate to this at the moment, because you're building your business and I'm starting Jewellery Academy Brighton. So we're being reminded of the overwhelm and all the things. And it's that thing, even when you've done it before, if you've done it a million times, there's still lots to think about. And I think what's really nice that you picked up on there is like the pacing. And I think that's what we've been learning from the jewelers in the community, is the pacing of this new course is like, let's spend the year working on this. And actually, when we look at our diploma programs and see how much can be achieved practically in a year, is incredible. And I think it's the same with business. We're often quite hard on ourselves when it comes to business, and it's sometimes less tangible to see the growth. Hopefully there's some income growth, which is a nice tangible one, but we often don't look back at those figures and see how far we've come. And I think a nice thing is, as we walk through the year together and work on the different areas together, you'll learn not only from us guys, but also from your fellow jewelers on the course and on the program. And often give us the feedback that they just love that community and everyone coming forwards. And if you've got a question, there's no such thing as a silly question. It's your first craft fair, what do you take? It's your 50th craft fair, what should you take? Like, we need to be reminded of these things, because you can't hold it all in your brain all at the same time. Insurance, all these different areas that we kind of talk about and share about, and it's constantly updating. So it's useful to kind of get that current knowledge as well. So like Anna mentioned, it's good for anyone who wants to start a business. It's good for anybody looking to grow a business. This community in particular is not level based. So it's not about how good you are at jewelry making, or how new you are, or how long you've been in business or not. We can all learn, and we can all kind of get the motivation and encouragement and accountability that comes through a program like this. And so I'm excited to see what everyone does.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter what type of jewelry making you do either. We'll just put that out there too. It could be somebody who is doing beading and gemstone jewelry work. It could be metal clayer. It could be somebody who is a goldsmith, someone who only works on commission, someone who only sells at craft fairs, someone who only retails in shops. Anyone and everyone, it doesn't matter where you are. I think it is for you. And the other thing that I was thinking of while you were talking there is, I love this quote that we overestimate what we can get done in a day and underestimate what we can get done in a year. And I think a lot of times we get that overwhelmed. We're like, I just want everything to be running and working. And I feel like with a business, there's all this, what I'd like call invisible architecture. There's a lot of things going on underneath the surface, like our socials and our website, and all of that. There's so much that's going on there, and it takes time to really properly build that up. So you might be thinking, a year? Do I need to take a year? That doesn't mean you can't be selling during that time. We hope you should be selling during that time, but it's about kind of those building blocks that you need to build that profitable business. So, some of those things that you can just kind of do and handle and be done, and some of those things that we have to do daily. I think that's why this is such a great program, because it really does, yeah, as I say, walk you through it.
And what's so nice is, because we've done this for a year, although this is a new and improved version starting in January, but we have run the academy for a year, and the students, I feel like weird calling them students because they're business owners, but on there are just so lovely. Everyone is so eager to learn, excited about building their business. And like Anna said, some of them have been training for 20 years in jewelry making. Some of them have just done their first course, but everyone's starting their business or growing their business, and everyone can teach and learn from each other. And we all have previous experience from other jobs, other roles, other life experience that we're bringing to the table. And there's this real kind of aspect of community over competition. Like, everybody just wants to help everyone out. And there's this networking kind of involved as well. I mean, we'll talk about kind of how the structure works, and anyone in the Jewellery Business Academy now will know what that's like. And people often say that their favorite thing is the monthly calls, where they get to meet with their smaller group of people who they get to know and just check in, like, how was that event you did last month? And how's the packaging going? How's the branding going? Like, tell us your update, what's been happening. And I think that is so important, because as Anna said, we need the step by step. We need to know what to do and how to do it. But then there's also the emotional side of running a business, of like, what about when you freak out? Or what about when you get a bad review and it feels really personal and you need somewhere to go where you can just be like, oh, this was a horrible day. And we're there, there's a whole team of people who are there like, oh, I'm so sorry you went through that. It'll be okay. Here's what you can do. And I think that support is so important, because there's quite a lot of talk as well about like mental health and small business owners, and how it can be really challenging if you're not looking after yourself, because you can just take on. And then there's all this stuff coming at you sometimes, a lot of pressure. And unless you have the support, whether it's us or somewhere else, that can take its toll. So I think it's such an important investment in yourself as well as your business to build that kind of community, both in person and online. And we can definitely be the online aspect of it, maybe the in person too. I know some of our students will meet up and hang out and get to know each other really well. Maybe we can talk a bit about the structure, Anna, in terms of what's included. So you'll have your monthly content. So every month on the first of the month, all of that's released, and there's a theme. So January is all about setting your goals, vision setting. We look at the vision triangle, which some of you guys may know if you've done our training before. If not, don't worry, we cover it all. We look at paths to growth. We look at planning and mapping out your year in a way that's manageable for you. So there's lots of different tools that you can use. You don't need to use all of them. They're optional, because we all plan in different ways. So you'll have that content. So every month, that content will be released. And this is the new stuff that we filmed, that we've kind of gone around the country and filmed in different locations and got some really beautiful videos and footage to kind of explain and help you guys connect with the training there. So that's the core content of the course. But on top of that, you'll have a monthly masterclass, which will be a live session, often with myself or Anna or both of us or someone else on the team, talking about that topic to just kind of bring it to life a little bit more again, so that you've got that. And that's where we might talk about updates that are happening that year. For example, in January, like what's going to be helpful this year on top of the general strategy of what's going to help every year, because most of it's the same, but there's always little things that are different. Then you're going to have the small group calls. So the small group calls, I think, are really where you get that connection and community the most. So you'll be put into small groups, and you'll have the same group every month, and you'll meet together with a mentor, and you'll get to check in with each other. They're structured, so we kind of guide you through the process. They're on Zoom. There's different time zones and all those kind of things that you can select. We try and match you as much as possible. And we often, within the small groups, you'll go off into even smaller groups of like 4 people in breakout rooms, and you are armed with some questions to help spark conversation, and you'll talk about the topic. So the question might be something like, what are your 3 main goals that you want to achieve this year? And, some people might be like, oh, I don't know, I need to think about it. Other people will have them, and you start kind of inspiring each other and checking in with each other around those things. So those are really, really lovely kind of places of connection. Then, Anna, perhaps you can talk a bit about the one-to-one, the kind of mentor that they're matched with, and how that bit works.
Yeah, this was an exciting thing that we added um, this year to the Jewellery Business Academy. So this was something that was new, we hadn't had before. And it is an opportunity for you to ask for help on a particular topic. So if there's something very specific you kind of a bit stuck on, or you're like, I really just need a bit of a sounding board, I just need to check something, or you're like, I need to know how to do this and I have zero idea. Usually it's something quite specific that you want to talk about. We have a form that you fill in, let us know, and then we match you with one of our mentors who can help you with that. And I know a lot of the students on the course from this current year, have found that so valuable. An hour one-to-one with somebody who is just talking about the thing that you want to talk about is, it is so valuable in terms of moving you forward, making you feel confident in the decisions that you're making. There's so much that goes alongside that, but we have an amazing team of mentors who've got lots of different types of experience. So we make sure we match you with the right person, and we'll sort all of that out behind the scenes for you. But yeah, I think there's something very valuable about having that one-to-one time, isn't there?
Absolutely. I think that just brings it all together. And like you said, Anna, even with all the training in the world, the best training in the world, there's always something that you're like, but what about this? Like, because this very specific set of circumstances applies just to you. And we all have that. And I think what's really incredible, which you talked about with the team, is that this matching of mentors, because it is niche, because we are just focused on jewelry businesses. And often it's like a certain type of jewelry business, like somebody running a jewelry business from home type style. We kind of know what you're going to need. So, for example, if you say, okay, this year I'm thinking about opening a shop, we'll be like, right, this person opened a shop last year or the year before, or they've run a shop for a few years. We'll match you with them, and you can talk specifically about how did they open their shop? What do you need to know? Or perhaps you want to develop your email marketing, like welcome sequence. And we've talked about it in the videos and you've seen it all, but you really want to run through the plan with someone and check it out. We'll be like, right, we've got an expert on email marketing who is also in the jewelry business, you can show them all of your stuff, and they can go through, line for line, and sort of say, I think this works really well, this bit doesn't, perhaps we can tweak this. So it's like you said, the jewelers have found it really invaluable. And I know when I've had one-to-one mentoring with somebody it's all about the match for me, because if it's just a general person, it's a nice chat. But if it's like actually the thing that you're working on or working towards, it's just so valuable. And I think that alone is, one of the most valuable things. But then combined with the community and kind of feeling part of something all year round, I think that's important for the fact that a business is just ever ongoing. You don't kind of like complete it. Business complete, training done. And I often share, and I know you're the same, Anna, that, I've been working in jewelry business for longer than I would care to admit now. And I always need more training. I always need more support, always need more mentorship, because it's like a weekly, monthly thing. It's not something that you just learn and then you're done. So that's why I think it's really important we have these longer kind of programs, and people can do this over and over again. Like this year, you can keep going. And we've kind of set it up in that way that there's lots of new, fresh things each year. and you can look at different things, focus in on different things, have more mentoring. The last element of the course is, of course, the Facebook group. It wouldn't be a Jewellers Academy program without a thriving Facebook group. And this is your kind of like 24/7 space to connect with other people on the program. I think the nice thing about connecting with other people on the program is people who have paid, who have invested in building their jewelry business. So they're on this journey with you. There are lots of people who would like to grow a jewelry business, but are not doing much about it. But everybody in this group has said, I want to learn, I'm going to spend this year, I want to be part of this. So there's a real energy behind that. And we see that in the group calls, and we see that in how people interact with each other. It's on their mind, they're thinking about it, they're in that space. So we can all kind of help each other out, which is just really lovely to see. So yeah, the Facebook group's a really nice place to be, isn't it, Anna? And to kind of have that connection in between calls.
Yes, I think so. And I think, just generally, a lot of times we will share all of what that's included in the course, but actually, a lot of times, all of that is amazing. But the things that move you forward, or that kind of, mean that you're in a completely different place by December, are sometimes just those little off the cuff things from the group calls or from the Facebook group, or someone says this and someone suggests that, and you're like, oh, I never thought of that. And it kind of takes you down another route that you just wouldn't go down on your own. And I think, with the best will in the world, we can try and do everything ourselves. And there's just so much information out there and all of this. But actually, that having that accountability of the group calls, having the Facebook group there, having people asking you, like, what's going on? How are you doing? Oh, as another month has gone. It's so easy for a month to go, and you're like, what happened there? I haven't done anything. It's kind of helping you with the passing of time, and also, but also saying, like, this is the thing to focus on this month. Let's all do it together.
Mm.
And I think that is the value of these kinds of programs, because they really can move you more than a year forward, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah,
if that makes sense.
absolutely. I think, we know that what we focus on grows. And if you dedicate yourself to this and to, in whatever capacity you can, I find with my business, and I think everyone's the same with their businesses, some years you can like go all in and you're like, right, going to grow the business, do all the things. And that's amazing years of growth. And sometimes it's like, well, I've got, I'm moving house or whatever, there's other things happening, but I'm still dedicated to moving forwards. And I think what I love about the Jewellery Business Academy, one of the things is it's so flexible that you can give as much as you want, you can be involved as much as you want. You're not in trouble if you don't come along to things. Like, there's no sort of compulsory elements or anything like that. So it's just, it kind of moves with you as you go through the year. And the nice thing about having a whole month to work on something is that if you have the whole month and you have lots of time, you can really go into it. And if you only get 3 hours or 1 hour that month, you can do something. There's always something you can do within a month, even if it's just watch a little video, make a little plan, put something into action in your business. And I think what you mentioned, Anna, about, in the group calls, at the end of each one, we ask, what are you doing by this time next month? What's the main thing you want to get done? And at the beginning, we're looking at, like, what did you get done? And it's okay if it wasn't the same thing, but that checking in, that accountability,
Yeah.
I think so many of us don't have that. And I know you talk about this a lot, Anna, don't you? The importance of those kind of goalposts and milestones.
I think it's so important. We could be really easy planning and making plans, but knowledge is great, but implementation is power. And this, if you find that a struggle, if you do find it difficult to kind of just get things done, with all the best will in the world, this will really help with that. And that is everything, really.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we're very excited about it, as you can tell. We've been doing the filming. We've got more to do, but it is all going to be out from January. So it's kind of released throughout the year. So from the 1st of January is when the program officially starts. Although we don't expect you to log in on the 1st of January. We hope you'll be enjoying yourself still with New Year's celebrations. But you've got the whole month in January to kind of work through the January content. You'll be going into your group calls. the one-to-ones throughout the year. So it won't be straight away in January, but you'll be kind of guided through all of those processes as well. But you can sign up from now. So if you know you want to do it and you're ready to commit, the great thing about signing up early is you get your payment plans, and we can also kind of get the team organized. So it's always helpful for us. So the earlier, the better. But it is now officially open. So whenever you're ready, go ahead and join us. And yeah, we're just looking forward to starting in January and building these businesses. And, I think making jewelry is such an incredible thing. It's something kind of dedicated my life towards doing and helping others to do. But I'm so passionate about running successful businesses, because if you don't do that, often the jewelry making takes a back burner. We can do it when we've got spare time, after we've done the day job, after we've looked after the kids, like after we've looked after whoever responsibilities that we have in our life. Whereas if you can build a profitable business, which you can, then it can be your main thing. And, the other things are extra things. And, I think that's an incredible way to spend your life, being creative, doing something you love, building something you love, and feeling really confident and just enjoying the process and feeling part of something, because that's really important too. So I think we covered everything, Anna. I don't know if there's any last bits and pieces, but thank you so much for coming and sharing about the program with me today. Anything I've missed?
I don't think so. I would just say to anyone who's listening to this and thinking, "Oh yes, this is definitely for me," do go and have a look. It is designed. We have years of experience of this, but as Jess said, this is for jewelry businesses. It's very specific. Those are who we work with. Those are who our mentors are. It's not a very general business course. We know this industry, and so if you are like, yes, 2025, that's my year to really go all in on my business, or really I want to get to the next level with my business, this is for you.
Absolutely. I love that, Anna. And I think, final thing I would say is that if you feel overwhelmed by advice and things that people are telling you to do, like, this course isn't advice, it's training. So it's learning the fundamentals of how we start and grow these businesses. It's giving you the structures that within that you can create the business that you want, because we all have a different business. If I ran Anna's business, I'd do it differently. If she ran my business, she'd do it differently, because we're all unique. We have our own personalities. So we're not going to say you have to do it this way, but it's more guidance and structure and the things that we've learned that we know are going to help. And then again, of course, that encouragement, that support, that it's okay to, get stuff wrong. It's okay if you feel behind. It's okay if you feel overwhelmed. Like, we're here to encourage. And it's okay if you're really successful as well, just on the other side, because sometimes people find it hard to say, oh my gosh, I've sold all this stuff, or, because we feel like, maybe we're showing off or whatever. But I think it's amazing. We want to share your successes as well. So just very, very excited for it all. So the link is in the show notes. Go and check it out. Take a look. If you have any questions, let us know. Feel free to sign up. And just bring on January, I suppose. Get those Christmas sales in if you are running a business already. Have a little break over Christmas. Come back and we'll do the year together. It's going to be a lot of fun. Great. Thanks again, Anna, for coming to join us. And have a wonderful rest of your week, everyone. And we'll be back here for another podcast episode next week. Bye for now.